Most beginners learn one restaurant survival line very early,我要这个. It feels simple, direct, and safe. Then they finally try it in a real Chinese-speaking place, and somehow the moment is still awkward. The staff member pauses, points back at the menu, or asks a follow-up question. Suddenly, that easy phrase stops feeling easy. What failed was not the sentence by itself. What failed was the whole ordering situation around it.
我要这个.
The first failure pattern is simple. In your head, there is one target. On the restaurant wall, there may be 6 similar targets. A rice bowl, a large rice bowl, a combo, a set meal, a spicy version, and a non-spicy version all live inside your one little point. So when you say我要这个, you feel specific, but the other person may hear something underspecified. Your phrase did not sound wrong. It just did not narrow the options enough for the person serving you. The second failure pattern is even more common. The person understands your first sentence just fine. Then they ask the normal next question. Which one? Large or small? Eat here or take away? With ice or without ice? Now the interaction breaks, not because your first phrase was bad, but because it opened a real ordering path. Real ordering paths always branch. If you only memorized one sentence, you still cannot finish the scene. Here is the real mechanism. In English, we often imagine one perfect sentence that solves the task. In Chinese ordering scenes, what works is usually a compact system. First, you open with desire. Then you anchor the target. Then you remove the biggest ambiguity. Then you survive the follow-up. That means 我要这个 is not useless. It is simply only one layer of the system. When beginners expect one line to carry the whole interaction, they keep blaming themselves for a problem that is actually structural. The first layer is 我要. In casual service scenes, this part is not the problem. It tells the other person that you are choosing, requesting, or ordering. It gets the transaction moving. But notice what it does not tell them. It does not tell them bowl or plate, hot or cold, small or large, set or single item. So, if you use 我要 and feel proud for remembering it, that is correct. You simply have not finished the job yet.
我要.
The second layer is 这个. This part looks easy because the dictionary translation is easy. But reference words only work when both people are locked onto the same object. If you and the cashier do not share the same visual target, 这个 becomes weak immediately. That is why the exact same sentence can feel perfect in a bakery case, acceptable at a food stall, and frustrating on a crowded digital menu board. The phrase did not change. The reference environment changed.
这个.
Once several options compete, the cheapest upgrade is often not a more advanced sentence. It is a tiny noun. This noodle one. This rice one. This milk tea. The noun narrows the universe before your pointing gesture finishes the selection. For beginners, this matters because it gives you a simple decision rule. If the menu is visually crowded, stop asking Bertiga to do all the work. Add one category word, and your success rate rises immediately. Now we can upgrade the beginner system into 3 safe patterns. Pattern 1, 我要这个, when the target is truly obvious. Pattern 2, 我要这个面 or 我要这个饭, when the category matters. Pattern 3, 我想要这个, 可以吗, when you want the same core meaning but a softer landing. This is the shift from sentence collecting to scene control. You are no longer asking one phrase to handle every room. You are choosing the right amount of specificity for the room you are in.
我想要这个，可以吗?
Put yourself in 2 scenes. In the first, there is a tray of prepared dishes right in front of you. You point at one bowl. In the second, there is a big wall of photos with similar-looking combos. Your intention is identical, but your language burden is not identical. At the tray,我要这个 may be enough because the target is tight and shared. On the wall, the same phrase may trigger a clarification chain because the server still cannot tell which visual unit you actually chose. Context changes how much Chinese you need. A bakery often feels easy because the item is singular and physically present. You point to the exact bun or tart, and the exchange stays short. Bubble tea looks similar to beginners because you also point at a menu item. But structurally, it is a deeper tree. Once the drink is selected, the options stack quickly. Size, sugar, ice, toppings may be hot or cold. So the learner says the target phrase correctly, but experiences the whole order as failure because the branching complexity arrives immediately after the first success. This is another hidden trap. Learners hear that 我要 means I want, then try to use it everywhere. But supermarket Chinese is often a different task. You may need where is it, how much is it, or can I take this, not the same direct ordering line you use in a restaurant. Native speakers understand a lot from context. Beginners need to stop translating one English intention into one universal Chinese sentence. Scene type matters. Service logic matters. The relationship between you and the object matters. Here is the slow version of the scene. You look first. You pick the target first. Then you say 我要这个. If the menu is crowded, you immediately upgrade it to 我要这个面. That one extra noun saves you from half the confusion beginners normally blame on listening.
我要这个。我要这个面。
Then you stop and listen for the next branch. You do not rush to memorize a giant monologue. You survive the interaction step by step. Now hear the natural version. You start with a more specific target. The staff replies with a normal branching question. You answer only the branch that matters. Then another branch arrives. This is how real service Chinese feels. Not one speech, but a sequence of small controlled turns.
我要这个面。
大份还是小份？
小份。
堂食还是打包？
If you expect one sentence to end the scene, you panic. If you expect a short chain, you stay calm. Let us compress the failure pattern into 3 mistakes. First, you use vertigo when the visual field is too crowded. Second, your pointing gesture is vague, delayed, or aimed at a whole board instead of one item. Third, you mentally treat the first sentence as if it should finish the order. Fix those 3 problems, and the phrase suddenly feels much more powerful. Not because the grammar changed, but because you stopped asking it to do impossible work. So here is the action checklist. Before you speak, decide what the visible target actually is. If the menu is crowded, add 1 noun. Expect 1 normal follow-up question instead of treating it like surprise failure. Then build only the next 3 branch answers you need for your real life. That is a much smarter beginner strategy than hoarding random restaurant sentences with no scene logic behind them. If you remember one thing from this lesson, remember this. Chinese beginners do not fail because they chose the wrong magic phrase. They fail because they treat a live scene like a translation quiz. The sentence matters, but the scene matters more. So keep 我要这个. Do not throw it away. Just stop pretending it is the entire interaction. Turn it into the first move of a simple system, and you will sound calmer, clearer, and much more natural. Next time you order, do 4 things in order. Choose, point, narrow, confirm. That is the long-form lesson hiding behind one short beginner phrase.
我要这个。